Welcome back. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show live from the cold city of Enugu, Nigeria. Right before the break, we spoke about the proposed budget by the Southeast Development Commission, but now we segue into internal political drama that has emerged in the state. The African Democratic Congress has vowed to challenge the Enugu State government in court over the imposition of the mandatory 150 million naira advertising permit fee for political parties ahead of the 2026 and 2027 elections. The party's position followed a directive issued on Monday by the Enugu State Structures for Signage and Advertisement Agency, requiring all parties and candidates to pay the fee before deploying campaign materials, branding vehicles, or mounting billboards. Joining us now to speak directly to this issue is Deputy Chairman, African Democratic Congress, ADC Enugu State, Comrade Obeta. Comrade Obeta, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Good morning.
Good morning, Enugu. Thank you very much.
Yes. It's just remaining to say Ndi Enugu Kwenu or something else. All right, so, this is a major move. It sparked a lot of reactions across social media. People have started revisiting what other states have charged in the course of this. So what's your initial reaction to this advert permit fee for the elections? Do you think it's something that the ADC can afford to do or not?
Okay, in the past couple of weeks, we have seen a lot of desperation by the ruling party in Enugu State. We have seen their moves towards shutting down the true electoral processes in 2027. We've seen how they are forcing civil servants to submit their NIN, BVN for e-registration and a lot of them. And then the climax was what happened on Monday. We woke up to hear about the outrageous sum of 150 million naira to be paid by candidates who are, erecting their signages and their advert materials. And I think it has not been founded anywhere in this country. I think that's one of the first time we are hearing such amount of money as fees for signage in this country. And we did not take it very lightly because if we leave it like that, they will go on to implement it. And that will definitely affect most of our candidates who will be running for different offices in 2027. So we want to engage the government legitimately and legally because if they say 150 million, the candidates of the ruling party, I know they can afford it because they will be paying it from our common treasure. But what of the oppositions? Where are they going to get the money from? So, by the way, we know so much that signages and signposts does not win election. They do not determine the voting pattern, but they go a long way to introduce a candidate. So, having said that, we want to challenge this issue, a statement made by the Enssaa chairman on Monday in the courts. We want to meet them in the court so that the court can interpret it for us, the rationale of a candidate paying 150 million naira just to advertise what he is about to do. So it is outrageous. And it is coming at a time that the political space activities are gearing up. So it is a sign of desperation, is a mark of intimidation to intimidate the opposition. But we are not going to allow this to happen. We are going to court and let them come to court and defend what they have proposed.
So from your interpretation, this could be seen as restricting campaign visibility for smaller parties, as you stated. Is ADC still a small party?
Well,
ADC is the real opposition, though, as stated, because of the whole coalition, the whole big dogs, that has assembled in that political party as a vehicle to counter whatever the leading or the ruling party is doing.
Throwing such money on advert billboard alone is not a good thing for our democracy. So if the ruling class, the ruling party can afford it, we will not afford it. We will not do it. Because it is an economic waste. And looking at it from the other side, from the other flip, we know it's a kind of intimidation, a kind of a restriction from the opposition ends not to, excel in the 2027 general election.
So let's now speak to this 150 million naira permit and what it covers. And while before we get to that, I'd like to also, ponder on this notion in the public that parties and the party offices are funded. The APC, their party chair, and of course, office, they're all funded. ADC, we expect same. And with the rise in ADC, we expect a lot of funds to come in, and the party should be able to fund its campaigns, right? So you can respond to that notion. Then let's talk about what the permit actually covers. So this typically is going to look at, is going to allow the parties that pay to deploy their campaign visuals, including the rallies and street campaigns, billboards and banners, branded vehicles, T-shirts, caps, handbills, buntings. And, basically it's a one-off fee that's supposed to cover for your campaign activities. And at the same time, we also understand that you have to have registered these advertorials or these ads with ARCON. So could you speak to what this covers? Is it not, some people say that it's covering everything, so it's one-off and one-off is good?
What happened is that that money is something that they need to interpret it deeply because it has not happened before. And when you're paying for signage, you subscribe for a month or 2 months, depending on your capacity. So we need to know whether this 150 million is for the duration, the period from now till the end of 2027 general elections. We need to understand. And that is the reason why we want to wait for them at the court so that they can interpret this. If they cannot defend this humongous amount.
So let me ask you this question. If they say that this 150 million naira one-off fee is supposed to be for because the election is next year, 2027 is next year, so it can't be for 2 years, it's next year already.
Yes.
So if they say that this 150 million is for all of the campaigns stretching on to whenever the elections happen, are you going to be comfortable with that? Would that seem like such a huge sum of money?
It is still very outrageous because if we break it down to the normal fees that we pay for subscription for adverts, you find out that it's not even going to be up to 20 million. Between now and that period of election, it's not going to be that. So you find out that this is almost more than 500% increase in the normal fees that should be paid. So it is outrageous. Everybody is, if not even only ADC, there are other parties that are reacting, fuming. So that is why we are not taking it lightly. We're going to engage the government and we're going to engage them squarely, fearlessly.
Have you attempted to reach out to the general manager of Enssaa? Have you attempted to reach out to the government? Have you tried to engage outside of the courtroom?
What happened is that there is no engagement that they hear faster than the courts. And that is why we're approaching the court first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, apparently, that's the next step, go to the court, right? But which law will you rely on to challenge Enssaa's directive in court?
Of course, there are modalities in the electoral reform on how campaigns are carried out by candidates and political parties. We are strictly going into that. And I think they have overshot the stipulations made by the electoral law. And there are a kind of guidelines for advertisement and publicity of political campaigns and the rest of them. By the way, there is also a stipulated amount that is meant for a political party to spend. So when you cough out 150 million just to pay for signages, what about other things? You find out that you will be, interfering with the limit of funds that are, required for a political party to spend on a particular political campaign. And you see that the inflating this signage fee makes it impossible for us to work within that amount that is stipulated by the electoral law.
Okay, what happens at the end of the day? Let's say, what if at the end of the day, right, ADC loses in court? What happens?
Well, we are not praying that we are going to lose in court.
In case of necessity.
That is probability. We don't work on probability. We work on what is legitimate and what is legal.
Anything could happen. It
So
could go south.
if the court interprets that the 150 million naira is legitimate, then
you adhere and say.
So be it. We will know how to navigate around.
Okay, so let's look at there's a term that I heard once. They said, I was reading a statement and they were trying to recruit security operatives, and there was a line that said that new recruits must be